Junkers. Digimon, digital monsters, Digimon yard of Junkers.
Loading times are terrible.
Well, I've been watching an LP on YouTube of Sonic 06.
Oh my god,
so.
Sonic 06 loadings are the worst.
Yeah, I watch them as I'm drawing, so I'm not paying attention that much, but still, like, most of that game is loading.
It's like, oh god, like they're sometimes a minute a piece,
and
then you'll have the loading screen going into a piece of dialogue that is literally like 2 words.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Into a new loading screen.
Yeah, and then you'll die immediately upon entering a level because the scripted event that runs you off a ramp onto the level proper just fucks up. Like, yeah, I've been just watching it. We don't have that game.
Yeah, if
I'm
we
kind
could,
of tempted.
would you want to?
Yeah, like I think I'd enjoy it.
I think that's a game that a lot of people have Let's Played, but to be honest, that's a terrible game, and it's always funny because of how bad it is.
Well, like, it's one of those things where since it's been done, I'd probably not take it too seriously.
Yeah.
I'd either go in and try to find as many stupid glitches as I could find, just, running into walls and seeing what happens, just having parties at the river, etc. That's just going to be my term for when the game just wigs out because you stepped on the wrong thing.
Parties at the river?
Party at the river, like back in the forest.
Yeah, fair enough.
But, like, I just do that. Like, in the LP I was watching, there's a point where they're running and Amy Rose spontaneously appears, already dead, does her little death animation and her death voice clip. Oh, wait, I was going this way.
No. You already went that way. There's a chest there.
Oh, I'm thinking too much about Sonic 06.
Yeah, stop talking about other Let's Plays. It's weird.
Okay, but
You
Sonic
shouldn't do
06 has got a lot of stuff going on in it that's worse than this. So it's like, yeah, we can do this. This is fine. We can do it.
Well, I was thinking that when this is done, like whenever the hell that might be, which might be like 50 episodes from now.
Tomorrow. We'll be done tomorrow.
No, I really doubt we'll be done tomorrow. But when this is over with, we could probably go into normal Digimon World.
Yeah, and that's probably one where we'll want to speed through a lot of things. Like, we'll just, like, agree not to talk during training sessions so that we can just fast forward through them. Or, I don't know, we'll figure that out. But we probably should because it's a fun game.
Even though it is, like, weirdly difficult because it's kind of jank a little bit.
It feels like an unfinished game, but not in the way that most unfinished games feel unfinished.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like an unfinished game that's going to fall apart in your hand.
It feels like an unfinished game, like there's like an under construction sign just barely off screen for some other thing that would make the things in it make more sense.
We could also potentially do like Monster Rancher.
Yeah, we're doing
like
Monster Rancher.
Yeah,
I don't know when,
maybe.
but like we gotta at some point. Even if it's just like a one-off to just show off the way it works and maybe like name a stupid thing.
But I was thinking though, like ultimately.
Grandpa, already?
Jeez, are we gonna get 2 bosses in one session?
No, I don't think so. I think I would want to stop and do a grind session so I can get the evolution where I need to beat up fish.
Okay.
Because, like, I want to get those.
I guess we haven't gotten a save point or anything like that.
Yeah, that's usually the indicator. And he's probably only there to explain the switches, which just means we're going to have more switches.
But you've already seen the switches.
There might be, like, a second color or something. Because the ones
maybe.
we've stepped on have been red.
Maybe.
That's my anticipation.
But I was thinking if you want to, we could do either a series of one-offs for every game or just a couple of, maybe just a series of Let's Plays where we play a couple of episodes per, and we'll just do Sonic games.
That would be cool,
If you
because
want.
we've got Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, the GameCube version.
Yeah, we have Sonic Unleashed.
Yeah, the Wii version, actually, though. That one is missing certain things that the PS3 and the Xbox have.
Have you ever heard the explanation for that?
No.
When they were making Sonic Unleashed, it was Sonic Team decided that they were going to sit down and they were going to build an entire engine for the game. And they built the engine, they made the game, and then they realized that the engine could only be run on PS3 and on Xbox.
So they had to remake
So they
the
had
game?
to build an entirely new game for the Wii version. And even though the Wii version is slightly shorter because it's missing certain things, I have heard people say that it is a significantly better game.
Well, that's a fair trade, I guess. But yeah, we have the one that's shorter but less glitchy. Actually, no, for an LP, that might not be as good. Because I love garbage. And we'd have more content.
Well, if we want to play garbage, I mean, we have plenty of garbage.
Oh, yeah, no, I mean... I'm thinking like the next one that I want to do is Animorphs Shattered Reality, which is a PS1 platformer that is very bad and about Animorphs, which is great.
There's some other stuff that we have just sitting around that I think we might do eventually.
Yeah, I've got a Kuji the Heartless.
Okay, maybe we shouldn't spoil all of this, though.
Yeah.
In
well,
retrospect, like we're talking an awful lot about
this
things
means
that we could
this
do.
means that people can give us comments on what sounds interesting. And then, we just listen to our viewers.
I guess. So what is up with... Have you noticed, by the way, that we have a very limited number of enemies that we're running into, and it's nothing but, like, a specific number of them, and then recolors of that specific number?
That's because Digimon is kind of full of recolors,
I
and
know,
also
I
this
know.
game is probably just not that... They probably rushed this out. Like, it's got a lot of things in it that have a lot of merit, but it is based on an anime, and it is kind of... like for littler kids, not like super little, but like this is no Final Fantasy.
I think this was supposed to be the start of where they were trying to focus more on teens. Like although a lot of the late games, like the more modern ones, are totally not directed at children anymore.
Yeah, but this is still, it's like the tie-in for the anime and stuff. Like they didn't put as much effort into it as they could have. Probably because it's just they wanted to get a game out while the anime was still on the air, and they probably just sort of went with the basics of the plot of. We haven't watched it, but like I assumed this is following the plot, sort of.
I don't actually think it has anything to do with the plot.
Really? Then what the fuck is this
I think
game?
this is its own standalone.
Let's talk to
plot.
Grandpa.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Well,
there's
it
blue
really
ones.
does just tell you that. What an
Yeah,
ass.
there's blue ones. Tell me something else. Okay, you're boring. There is, in the Dragon Island area,
Yeah.
there is actually no point where he has to explain shit. It's that panda instead.
Oh.
But he does show up, because I went back to look for treasure chests. He's behind a pillar. Sorry that I didn't
Okay.
show this, because it was in the middle of me just doing other stuff. It wasn't that important. But he was hiding behind a pillar, so you couldn't quite see him. But if you find him and you talk to him, he's like, "Hey, you found me," and he gives you some random bullshit item, something insignificant. It wasn't like another.
pretty
It
great.
wasn't like another evolution egg or anything. But yeah, he's totally just there because old man is just bored. He just wants to get out and meet new people. He's like having like a retired person working at a McDonald's and they're like weirdly happy. Those are always the best people to have working in fast food because it's like they've lived for like ever and had a full career and retired and then they don't want to sit at home because that's boring and they're still sprightly and full of life. So they go and just work at like the Del Taco down the street and they're like super into it because, they like just being useful. That's Grandpa. Anyways.
I used to have a guy who, when I went to work at a theater, we used to have an old man who was like 60 or 70 years old.
Is this the projectionist you would
No.
okay.
This was, I want to say his name was John.
Okay.
And he worked the front door. Like he would take tickets for people. And it took me like 2 years of knowing John.
Wow, that loading was bad. Okay,
For me to figure out, he's a retiree. I don't know why that didn't click for me. But when I realized, that's right, he's a retiree, I looked at him and I'm like, John, what did you do prior to? And he goes, I was the chief of police.
Oh, wow.
And I just looked at him and went, wait, what? And it turns out, the retired chief of police got bored sitting around at his house, so he went and worked at a movie theater.
I used to know someone when I first started working at my job, which is I work in a grocery store. I work in the coffee place in the store, but I work for a grocery store. One of the people who was hired around the same time as me was this little old lady who apparently used to work in television. Like, she was like a producer for like a public access kids show or something, and like she would recognize people who would come in who had been kids on her show and stuff as
Oh,
adults.
that's cute.
Yeah, she was adorable. She used to give me rides home sometimes, because this was long before we had a car. I didn't even have a bicycle then.
Yeah.
So like I would have to walk 4 miles if I didn't have a ride. But like she was one of those people where it was like she wasn't really super into it to get the money, although, you know, it's fine. But like it was because she was out and she was meeting people and stuff. And like she was the sweetest and happiest person like ever.